Hello and welcome to Who Books That with Harrison Greenbaum. I'm your host, Harrison Greenbaum. We do this every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. EDT or 4 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. And it's presented, of course, by the International Brotherhood of Magicians. If you'd like to join them, it's very easy. Just go to this link, magician.org/join, the IBM/join. They're a fantastic organization doing a ton of programming during this crazy time. So definitely make sure you support. And if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Harrison Comedy. And this show, again, is every Monday and Wednesday, 7 p.m. EDT. And boy, am I excited for our guests today. They are a doubleheader. I think the first time I met them was at Magic Camp. And I remember being told that these two people were coming to Magic Camp as special guest counselors and being both nervous and thrilled at the prospect of being able to work with people who I've admired from afar for a very, very long time. I'm honored to now be able to call them my friends. I love these guys both to death. It's a very important day for them, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Make some noise. Get excited for MIKE CAVENEY and Tina Lenerт, everybody.
Hey, Harrison.
Hi, Harrison.
We're good.
There's already a ton of people. There's a howdy, guys. So I guess they're confusing you with Matt King. And Bruce Sinclair saying, I really enjoyed the AMA perk last week. Egyptian Hall Tour was fantastic.
Good.
People from Massachusetts as well, and Vermont. But I alluded to this earlier. It is a very special day for you guys. It is your wedding anniversary. And I know you told me not to get you anything, but I did get you some balloons.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. I tried to add on the years, but they started floating away. So I tried my best.
Oh, yeah. 41st.
That works. Yeah.
Very nice.
That's my present to you guys.
And you just leave that up there the whole time?
Yeah, because we didn't get any decorations for this party. So
there you go. Tina's stuck behind the.
Yeah, Tina's gone, but.
But let's talk about that, because can you walk us back to the first day you guys met each other? Was it love at first sight, or did it take a while?
Who starts?
You start.
I start. We knew about each other. We're both castle members. So he joined before I did. So we knew of each other from a distance. And 1 week we got booked at the castle at the Palace of Mystery. You know, they booked 3 acts there, so we were 2 of the acts. And that's really how we got to really meet each other. And we just had really a lot of fun right on that first week. So it was a friendship. It wasn't anything that I thought was going any further than that, but he was so much fun to be with. And I was dating different guys at different times, but I always end up thinking, you know, Mike is really a lot more fun than these guys.
Of course.
As we all know.
So here's my story.
The glory of hindsight.
Here's my story. Even before that week together in the Palace of Mystery, Judy Carter was working down in the old wine cellar when that was the big theater. And I went down to see her. She was funny. And she had an assistant, mime, who acted as her table.
Hey, should I be the table here? Can I do that?
No. Tina walked out and bent over at the waist, and Judy set stuff on her back like a candle and whatever, and she was going to make like a little restaurant table. So it was crazy and funny and weird. And afterwards, I thought, well, Judy was good, but I really liked that table.
See, magicians do look at the job. They don't look at the performer. It's just...
That was the first time I saw it. Because they refer to magic assistants as walking tables, but Tina was literally
a
table.
walking table.
So she could serve a meal for this guy that she got up, you know, the spectator that she got up on stage. Yeah. It was pretty
amazing. And who asked out who first? What was the first date like?
It's a good question.
Well, you took me to the zoo.
We went to the zoo.
But I didn't think of it as a date. You know, it's like it took me a while for it to come together.
How romantic, watching rhinoceros, you know, dump in the weeds.
Hey, but it was fun, you know. It was fun to not be on a real date that we were all nervous about impressing somebody. And
the best way to have a first date is not even know about it, and then on the second date be like, by the way, do you know we're dating?
Yeah.
No, it took a few months.
No, because then we went to the Del Mar Fair because I had a friend that was performing there. And the only thing I remember about that is that when we left, I couldn't find my car in the parking lot.
Like that Seinfeld episode, but real life.
Yeah, most of the date was wandering up and down rows of this parking lot.
So we got to talk. Yeah, it was okay. I didn't mind that at all because I do things like that too. So it's nice to have somebody else that would do that. You know?
So clearly we were made for each other.
It's one of those things that was really, because it was slow, but it built, and it just kind of kept going and going. And we had a few ups and downs, but those were probably lent to us getting together. I think sometimes you have to have a couple of breakups here and there, and then that's when you go, okay, I should stay with that guy, and that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, and Mike was a big difference from the boyfriend right before him, right? Because I think I heard that it was Andy Kaufman.
That's right.
We don't have to get into it, but I love that.
So
I
here's
love
what I
how
always
the
say.
story has gone blown out of. But thank you for hearing that. I mean,
I have a huge connection to Andy's family because I won the Andy Kaufman Award back in the day, and so I stay in touch with his brother, and so I have like a personal connection with him and his brother, his nephew. So I love any story that is about Andy.
Yeah, well, Andy nobody knew who Andy was, and he got this job working on the Dick Van Dyke Variety Hour, as did the LA Mime Company, which was me and 4 other people. So that's how we were working on the same series. And I thought he was hilarious. I just loved because offstage, I just love people that when they're off stage, they're like this. And then when they're on stage, something happens, like this light turns on and they do. I'm so amazed by it. So that really drew me to him. It wasn't an attraction. I was just drawn to him. I wanted to, and he didn't know anybody in LA. So we went to the wrestling matches when he was trying to figure out his character, and he would work on his foreign man. He didn't have the foreign man character either yet. This was, I think, in 1976.
From Taxi, that character.
So yeah, that's how it ended up. But it was a character that he had. And he'd practice it when he'd go to buy the tickets at the Olympic Stadium. What was it, downtown?
Yeah, downtown Olympic Stadium.
He would use his foreign man accent, and I would be, I wish I could do that. I was
very much.
And then we'd go to the beach, and he'd use his Tony Clifton. He was working on Tony Clifton as well. So he was trying to win a little animal, those little blow up things that cost less than what you pay to play the game. And he said, I want this for my gal. I want to, and he was really amazing. And he came to the Magic Castle. He'd always wear this pink coat because he had a thing about this coat that he had to wear. And even on stage, off stage, all the time. And it was a little awkward. But yeah, it was lovely. But it wasn't dating. I mean.
Uh-huh.
And it's only fair, Mike, tell us about your ex-girlfriends.
Jeez.
You have any good stories.
No, I don't have that many ex-girls.
By the way, you were quite the looker. I have some old photographs. This is amazing.
Nice.
This is beautiful. And I found a photo. You sent me.
See, the chicks love that with all the thimbles. They said, well, there's
that's what makes the girls go crazy. He knows magic and he might sew.
Jeweled thimbles. Where's his phone number?
Here's a picture, by the way, I dug up of you and Stan Allen doing a duo act.
Yep.
This was another photo of you guys doing with the same barrel.
Oh, yeah.
And the same costume.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem with this. Douglas and Allen, that's what this act was called, Stan and I. And
where's the Douglas part? He's Stan Allen, but how did Douglas enter into this?
My middle name.
Gotcha.
And I think it's Stan's middle name too.
His real middle name is Albert, but we thought, because Stan's real last name is Sikulski. So we thought Sikulski and Caveney, how's that going to look on the marquee? Douglas and Allen. So we were both virtually the same age, both had brown hair, both about 6'1". We both had the same costume on. So we thought, well, we'll do the sub trunk, but we'll top Siegfried and Roy. We'll do it with a barrel. So I'd lock Stan in the barrel, and I'd get up on top of the thing and pull the curtain. Bam! Stan would whip the curtain open, and there he was instead of me. And the audience would go, "What's the effect? What happened?" They couldn't tell that anybody even changed places. So the act didn't last.
I like that. The generic white guy switching for the generic white guy.
Exactly.
You
needed a mustache.
I eventually had a mustache, but this act.
Oh, I know it. I have that photo as well.
You do?
Let me pull it up. Here it is. This is the only one I could find. It's enough. There's enough blurriness that it could also just be diverted. But that is, I believe,
good.
A photograph of you with your mustache.
Yeah, that's so blurry that I can say, yeah, that's not me.
I knew him when he shaved his mustache off, and that kind of helped bring things along a little better because I didn't think.
I can explain that mustache. Right out of college, I started doing trade shows. And here I am, this punk kid telling all these big business guys what they should be doing with their money. So I thought, well, maybe a mustache will make me look a little bit older. So I grew a mustache.
No, that's a good one. I mean, it's a significant one. That's like that's a full-on commitment.
Well, early 70s.
No, I love it. And when you guys were dating, how long between you guys starting dating and then I believe you got engaged in England? That is somehow connected to the Magic Circle?
That's right. We went to the Magic Circle Christmas show. When was that? 78?
Yeah, because we got married in April of 79. So yeah. It was now that kind of really solidified our relationship. We already were in a relationship.
What, getting married solidified our relationship? Yeah.
No,
I'd say so.
It solidified that for me. It meant that, okay, this is the guy I really want to marry, but I couldn't say anything.
Oh yeah,
because
Tina figured that out before I did.
Yeah, I got kind of obsessed with it, but I knew that I should not ever even. I think he kind of sensed it, but I was so careful to not bring up the subject of marriage because that was going to ruin it. Because
so
were you dropping hints though? Were you leaving little clues like those rings are beautiful?
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I just felt that this is what I was thinking. Whenever we have our first fight, I wouldn't want him to say to me, "Oh, it was your idea to get married." See,
good thinking. So here's how that went down. We're in England at Magic Circle. This is Christmas time, so it is freezing in London. But I had this all figured out. I'm going to pop the question on New Year's Eve at midnight. We're going to walk down to Trafalgar Square in the middle of London, where they have these big, giant fountains that are completely frozen solid. And at midnight, I'm going to pop the question. Well, so we're two Californians, right? And we're bundled up as best we can. And I mean, even the Londoners were saying, this is cold. So and I'm looking at them, come on, waiting for midnight. Tina's got hat on and a coat wrapped around her head and a scarf. So
you might propose to the wrong person.
Yeah, I know. So I popped the question. The big moment, I popped the question. And the response I got was Tina looked over and said, "I'm freezing my ass off. I'm going back to the hotel."
I didn't hear it.
And I said, "I'll take that as a yes."
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is the perfect engagement.
Oh.
It didn't seem so at the time, but it's a good story now.
Oh
no, that's amazing. And as I delved into your backgrounds, your acts and your approach are very opposite, right? Mike is talking a lot. It's comedy. Yeah. It's not very serious. Tina is generally silent. It's a lot more dramatic and elegant.
Yep.
I think that contrast sort of is one of the reasons you guys had that attracted you to each other and then has made it last.
Yeah, because I admire people that are, I don't say funny, that people that can actually, I don't like the word funny sounds too trite, but I really love people that with a sense of humor. I've always loved a sense of humor. And you were fascinated with mime, weren't you?
I really was. I never practiced mime or did mime, but I was very fascinated with mime. And I think that's why I like Judy Carter's Table, is because Tina just didn't, I mean, she was like a mechanical doll that came out and did all this stuff. And I found it fascinating. Oh,
there it is.
Very famous picture. That picture with Tina with her tongue out ended up on a greeting card.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What was it for?
It was a small greeting card company, and this was a photo session. The reason I was sticking my tongue out is because I just quit drinking coffee. This guy, a friend of mine, just wanted to do a fun photo session with me.
Oh, I just wanted the card to open up, and it just says, "I'm freezing outside, but yes."
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway, this was not meant to be. I was just goofing off because I was really cranky because coffee, and that ended up. I signed it off. It wasn't like it was. He didn't do it behind my back. I gave him permission to do whatever he wanted to. So he sold us this greeting card company, and then I saw it in a store. I don't know how I discovered it, but I saw it.
I don't know what occasion you would make you buy that picture.
It says hello there or something. Yeah, no, it's just
this is a great picture because
I wish I could find that kid. Kid's probably like 40 something.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not a kid anymore.
And I'm not going to look this way. And I would love to meet that kid.
It'd be amazing if the kid was like famous or not famous. Like, and that kid was John Wayne Gacy or like something.
Right. But this is when I met Tina, and she was working in the street.
I was this was Westwood Village.
Westwood, out by UCLA.
And I can tell a little story about this. I was at Westwood Village, and not too many street performers at that time. So it was pretty. The field was pretty open, not like it is now. Now you have to get permits and even that. So I'm out there in there, and there's quite a big crowd around me, and then I'm in heaven. I mean, this is what I never dreamed I could do this kind of thing. So I'm out there doing that, and then there was always people taking pictures, so that was really nice. So once a cop came over to me and said, "You can't do this. That's you're creating he says you're creating too big of a crowd," which is like the best compliment anybody could get, right?
Exactly. Sorry for being awesome.
I thought, that ain't right. In that little costume, I drove over to the police department, and I
turned yourself in.
I said, "Look, I'm really having fun. The people out there are really enjoying it. Why can I not do that?" I said, the cop said that they were going to bring me into the police station if I kept doing that. So I walked in myself, and I said, "Would they really do that?" And they started laughing, and they said, "If cops came in pulling that little doll in there, we would laugh them out of the." So I didn't.
You don't even have to be in jail, though. You can just leave you in an empty room, and you can be like, "Oh no."
I know. I don't know why, but it was just so funny because they thought it was really funny that I turned myself in.
Well, let's get into that a little bit because before you were a mime, you were a musician. I didn't know this until, and I should plug this, is you have an essay coming out for the Astonishing Essays collection that Vanishing Ink puts out. It isn't out yet, but it's going to be out soon, so definitely make sure you check it out. But you went into your bio a little bit, and you mentioned being from Venezuela, which I didn't know, speaking fluent Spanish, which is definitely has to come in handy.
It's very handy. Yeah, it's been that's how Mike learned. Mike does this act in Spanish, and I had to.
This is my Spanish teacher.
That requires a lot of trust because I've worked with translators, and you always have to trust that they're telling you that what you're asking them to translate is what they're giving you.
Right.
So anyway, what was your story?
Oh no, I was saying. So you started off in the arts with guitar.
Yeah, that was my whole passion in high school. I started out playing rock guitar. I was in an all-girls rock and roll band, which was a whole other thing, and we broke up because a chick band, whatever, and. So I switched over to classical, and that became my passion. And although I didn't go right into college with guitar because I knew it wasn't practical, I needed to do something practical. So I went to secretarial school instead, learned to be a secretary.
So you became a mime.
Yeah, well, my heart was not into being a secretary after a while. So the mime came.
Secretary?
What? I'm sorry.
How good a secretary were you?
Secretary of the Year.
Yeah, I got the award. Did I put? Yeah, it was my college and my school.
Oh yeah, no, I was setting you up for that because I have it in that. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my!
I was the Nancy Taylor girl.
There it is.
That was when I was going. They had charm school as part of it, so I must have known how to walk like a girl or something. I don't know. So I got the award. I was student of the week, but also secretary of the year.
Amazing.
Yeah, in her spare time, Tina loves to play the guitar, make her own clothes, and in her spare time, do photographic modeling.
Oh,
that's right.
What kind of modeling there is other than the photographic time, at least at this time. But
not what you're thinking. But they're amazing photographs.
Amazing. You knew as soon as you started doing secretary work, you're like, this is absolutely not the life for me.
Yeah, but I'm glad I went through that. First of all, I learned skills. I can type really well. So, and I just learned business skills, which is good. I mean, I don't regret it. And it's what set me to the right place. I can't do this. I have to really try to do what I love to do. And at the time, it was classical guitar. So that lasted for a couple of years. I almost graduated, and I did my senior recital on that.
But that picture of Tina playing the classical guitar
can you bring it back?
That you had up there a second ago. I don't even see Tina Leonard in that picture.
Oh, I totally do.
If I had met her then, we wouldn't be sitting here now.
Mm. No, there's no way I would have met Mike.
But the photo that you showed, I think you showed it, of Tina sitting in the little gypsy wagon.
Yes, from the Renaissance Fair.
At the Renaissance Fair. That's my favorite picture of Tina. We actually have a really nice print of that hanging in our house.
Yeah.
And that's the Tina that I met back all those years ago.
Yeah. That's when we met. Or no, we met after that because I wasn't into magic yet. I have my big. I went to the Magic Castle, and that's what changed my whole life to do the magic thing. But this was before that.
And Mike, yours was much more of a straight line to magic. Like you were a kid, your first job is working at a magic store. It's magic.
I had no idea. I used to go to LA City College, and on my way to drive to school, I live in Laurel Canyon, I'd pass the Magic Castle every day. And I go, oh, what's that? Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. And I was making the mime transition at the same time from classical guitar. They kind of were bumped into each other for a while. So I was really into the classical guitar, and then, then I was when I was into mime, that was a whole other transition. But as a mime, by the time I was established as a mime was like not cool anymore. So the thing
Wait, was cool at some point?
It kind of went.
No, it was cool. It was cool.
You thought so, but
it was.
It was painful. It was really painful. The street was lovely at first. It was like I'm so glad I did the street, but
when Robin Williams was doing it, and
but anyway,
Robert Shields.
But they left it soon enough. Anyway, the point is that my work was gone. It started, when I first started doing the doll act out on the street, people would stop and go, oh wow, what's that? By the time I ended after those 3 years, the people would go, oh, there's another one. That's where it went. Oh, what's that too? Oh, there's another one. So I was in a kind of the dumps, knowing what to do. And then a friend of mine who was a street magician took me to the Magic Castle, although I knew where it was. And I walked in the Magic Castle and I said, I got to do this, whatever. I got to be here. I don't know why. I just love this old building. So I called the Magic Castle and I said, I'm a mime. I'd like to work at the Magic Castle. What do I have to do? And Bill Larson answered the phones in those days. Actually, Jane Cantor answered it, but she handed it over to Bill. And Bill said, well, you have to be a magician. And I went,
I can only imagine. What do you think Jack Goldfinger would say to you if you had called him up and said you were a mime? I'm trying to think of the Jack and he would give you.
Yeah.
He'd probably say, send me a video.
I think it'd be like, the quietest thing you can do is be loud.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
you can be is quiet.
Tina started out in an all-girls rock and roll band, then got deep into classical guitar, then became a mime, then a magician, then a harpist, then picked up the ukulele. Now she's teaching online yoga, and when the pandemic's over, back teaching live yoga classes. So it's like at least every 8 or 10 years, there's Tina on the harp. Tina does a complete 180 and dives headfirst into some completely new thing.
And
how does that feel? You just slouching off being a great magician the whole time. Just one thing.
Yeah, I know.
And can you get us so that gets Tina to the Magic Castle. She's about to meet you. Can you catch us up to how you get to that point?
Very simple. My story is much less interesting. I was 9 years old. My cousin John gave me a little set of 3/4-inch multiplying billiard balls. And a road opened up before me that I could see all the way down to the end of my life. I knew that I would follow that road forever with no deviations. And I had discovered my life. And yeah, I was interested in other things. And in school, I was on the cross-country team and the track team. And, that was interesting. But my magic was always first. Always, that took precedent. If there was a conflict, sorry, I got a show. I was almost a fireman. I went truly in college. I went and tried out for the fire department, and I passed the first phase of this thing. And they said you have to come in to be interviewed on Saturday morning. I said, oh, I have a show. And they said, well, you want to be a fireman? You got to come to this interview. And I said, look, I can come anytime except Saturday morning. And they said, it's Saturday morning. And I said, nice knowing you. That was the end of my fire career.
Is Mike Caveney firefighter? Does he live in an old firehouse with all the firehouse collectibles?
He probably would. Yes. Even as a kid, it's kind of weird. I liked old things, and not even magic things, just things that were old. I felt like they had a story to tell, and they'd been around and seen it all, and I loved old things. So this situation behind me and in the rest of this house maybe isn't so surprising.
And you said before, though, that your priority is magic, but I assume Tina is number one and then magic.
Mm,
Of
Or you
course,
both have magic at number one and then each other at number
I
two.
won't say that,
especially
no.
on this day.
Okay, I gotta straighten that out.
Which reminds me, happy anniversary.
Hey,
No, one of the things that attracted me to Mike was that he had that passion for something. I wouldn't want to be with somebody that was like, there are guys that do that. They just, they want every minute they're thinking, they're saying, what are you thinking? What are you doing? And I don't like somebody doing that to me. So that was a real plus, that he was so passionate about what he did. And he was so good at it at the same time. It was like not just a thing he did. And he still is. I mean, I really appreciate that about him.
And then this is, I think there's a picture of you in the house that you're in right now.
Yeah.
it is indeed. That was 1984.
And we're still here.
Yep.
Yeah, so 5 years after you guys got married, this is
Yep.
the house.
Well,
You're talking about loving old things. What about this house made it the special place you guys wanted to spend up till now in?
So that house, here's the thing. Like I said, we used to go running. We used to run 10K races down by the Rose Bowl, which is very near to here. So we'd come over to this neighborhood. We lived, I don't know, 8 miles away, and we just go jogging. And I came jogging down this street and I saw that house, and I just remember stopping going, wow, what do you have to do to live in a house like that? And I ran back to the car, and Tina came back to the car. And I said, hey, on the way home, I want to drive you by a house that I saw. And Tina said, okay, but I want to take you by a house that I saw. And we took each other back to the same house.
That's
So
perfect.
that was like
Yeah,
our
that's
dream
right.
house. Now, it wasn't for sale, and it wouldn't be for sale for years.
we wouldn't afford it anyway.
And we couldn't afford it,
Yeah,
and
it's
we
not
didn't want to
afford- it
move,
was just
and
one of those
a million
dreams.
things.
Yeah.
But then I came jogging down this street one day, and there was a for sale sign. And I thought, oh, my God. We can't afford this. What are we going to do? This is our house. And it was a very long, ugly story, but we bought the house.
No, that's amazing. That would not have happened in New York. In New York, you would have
Yeah.
went to an apartment and been like, oh, there's no bathroom. The kitchen is 4 feet by 4 feet,
Yeah.
but there's an extra room. So we're in $2 million.
So I remember the real estate lady, she met us there then, and we stood out front and talked about it. And she said, well, would you like to go in and see it? And I remember thinking, it's really not necessary. We'll take it. But okay. So we went in and we walked around the main floor, and then we came upstairs, and there's this bedroom and this bedroom and this bedroom and this bedroom. And then we go down in this giant basement, and we thought, what on earth are we going to do with all this space? We'll have to board up half of these rooms. And of course, 36 years later, this place is bursting at the seams.
Yeah,
But-
I have a couple of pictures of that.
Yeah, it's a perfect house for us. Yeah. There's 2 of the old bedrooms. We ended up taking a wall down and blowing the ceiling out and turning that into Egyptian Hall Museum.
And is this you? What is happening here? Because it looks like you're in a warehouse.
Good question. In 2000, George Daly and I bought Egyptian Hall Museum from David Price III, and we spent all of our money, and we divided this collection up between us as equal partners, but we had to get some of our money back. So we put on a 2-day sale. Saturday was a fixed price sale, and Sunday was an auction. And I would say there has never been another magic sale like that before or since. Remember, this collection started in 1895 and it never stopped. People adding to it, buying and adding and trading. And so there were treasures in there that were just unbelievable. So when the magic world heard about this, it took place, like you said, it wasn't a warehouse, it was a factory out in the middle of cornfields in Pennsylvania. And like the movie said, if you build it, they will come. And when we announced this sale in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, all the magic collectors came. And that was the auction, the Sunday auction. And it was the biggest sale of magic memorabilia in the history of magic up till that time. So it was unbelievable. And this is part of the half that I got from Egyptian Hall.
And during this quarantine time, I was trying to say Corona and quarantine at the same time. During this time, is this kind of been a little bit of a positive, giving you more time to kind of go through the collection?
It's not a little bit of a positive. Tina and I are embarrassed.
Feel guilty.
First of
You're
all,
having the best time.
This is like what I call an introvert's dream.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
I'll probably, it's been really interesting. I get to practice, and I get to run and practice in my yoga and my instruments, and read. I've never gotten around to reading much. So yeah, I'm okay.
You know, we've always worked at home, so this isn't some big drastic change for us. And it's a big house, so we have our own areas. And you know, when you've got a magic museum like that in one room and downstairs a magic library, it's impossible to get bored here. So we're kind of enjoying, you know, being forced to stay home.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only other person in magic is Copperfield, where he has his whole warehouse where he can just, I imagine he has a giant bathtub with like gold claw feet, and he can pour collectibles like a treasure bath.
Yeah.
Do you guys, is there any competition between you two guys? Or are you guys very helpful with each other? Because you guys both have incredibly impressive collections.
Well, look, I love my collection, and I'm very proud of this collection. Nobody can come close to what David has put together in Las Vegas. I mean, if you put all the collections I've ever visited in my life together, I don't think it would approach what David has done. That's just one of the advantages of being a billionaire.
Yeah, there are many.
So that's why I've spent a good chunk of time over the last 2 or 3 years up in Las Vegas working in David's museum, helping him organize it, put it together. And so I get to play with all that stuff without being a billionaire.
That's amazing. Is there anything weird? Have you ever stumbled upon anything just bizarre? I'm hoping there's a body.
I have not discovered a body, but there are weird things. There are odd, weird things. I'll leave it at that.
Amazing. By the way, we were speaking of old houses. When we did Abbott's together, the first time I ever went to Colon.
Yeah.
First of all, it was my favorite Colon story was you were with, I think you were with Rob Zabrecki.
Yeah.
Well, when you were there, we were with Zabrecki and Arden James and Mark Kornhauser and Chris Hart.
Yeah, and you guys invited me over, and all the streets are named after magicians. I think you were on Blackstone Way.
Blackstone Avenue.
Blackstone Avenue. And I went a left instead of a right. So there's like a north and a south Blackstone Avenue. So I went north instead of south, and I walked into the correct address, but it was like whatever the number was, North Blackstone Way. And I walked into the house, which was unlocked, got into the living room, and an old lady with no fear was like, "Honey, are you lost?" And I was like, "No, I think I'm supposed to come to this address. I'm looking for Mike and Tina." And she was like, "Oh no, I think you're on you mean South Blackstone Avenue." And no other town in America can you walk into a person's house. And not only was she not scared, she offered to help me immediately.
Right. Try that in New York City and let us know what happens.
By the way, we were talking about collectibles and old things. I believe you mentioned a friend who might be able to help us with that. This is one of my favorite people, Rob Zabrecki, everybody.
Mike and Tina. Hey, Harrison. How are you guys?
How you doing? I didn't want to interrupt you if you were doing any kind of anything dark or untoward. But if you have any ability to maybe top Copperfield here and bring forth a magician that none of us have spoken to in a long time.
Well, I could do that. You know, I was thinking, I was watching along, and it occurred to me that it's your anniversary, and I'd love to be there to help you celebrate it. And you're there, and I'm here.
Yes.
So it seemed to me that the only natural thing to do to offer you a little gift would maybe be a little seance to contact a spirit from the other side, maybe a famous magician.
Fantastic.
Would you accept that as an anniversary gift?
Wait, Houdini?
Oh my God! Yeah, I didn't click anything.
Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
This is not a science. We don't know. We don't know.
I said that.
Okay, I don't either. What I do know, Mike and Tina and Harrison and everyone watching, is that if you believe, you will receive. So now what we must do is across the internet, form a seance circle with our hands. So go ahead and take your fingers and place them on the keyboard just like this. That's right. Don't close your eyes entirely because you'll miss it. And let me now call upon the spirit of a great magician, one who was once a president of a famous magic club. I won't say which one just yet. A man of great achievement. Hold on. Don't get ahead of ourselves just yet. Let me dial him in. Okay. You must call him on my spirit phone. So stand by. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh my God.
This is so weird. I haven't clicked on anything. I don't know how this is even on the screen right now.
Harrison, please be quiet. I'm calling.
Don't play. Must be long distance.
Yeah.
Very long distance. Very long distance. Okay.
We spared no expense.
Hello! Hello!
Hello. Have we made contact with the Great One?
If you are talking about Harry Houdini, then yes.
Thank you, Mr. Houdini, for joining us. Today
I've
is a
been thinking all day about love and magic because of the day that it is.
yes.
Day of union and
Yes.
celebration for two very magical people who
That
teach
is
us
correct, Houdini.
that love
Cavery and Tina Leonert.
is
Yes.
spending the rest of your life with someone you want to kill, but you don't because you would miss them.
Correct. That is correct, Mr. Houdini. As you so well knew with Bessie. Yes, of course. Is she with you there, Houdini?
She is near me doing yoga.
Yoga, of course. Oh, I can feel her spirit here. Yes.
Has
Of
she
course.
stopped drinking?
Wonderful. Yes.
I want to
You made a
wish
special wish for Mike and Tina for their anniversary today. And
I
and
wish
as well
them much more love and much more quarantine because I know they are enjoying all the money they are saving, not going out to eat.
that is true. That is true. They do like to cut corners where possible, of course. Yes. They're magicians after all. You would know. Yes.
Well, they represent so much love in the magic world. Their beautiful house has been home to many a union and a celebration. So many great magicians have celebrated their love at that beautiful house that houses their love for so many years. Derek and Vanessa,
Yes,
the
of course.
great and incredible, unbelievable Derek Hughes and
Oh,
Kathleen Hughes
I
just
guess
celebrated their
Oh wow! Harry Houdini does so much contemporary information about
he's
people
a
that
fraud.
I've only ever done.
That's not Houdini. That's Derek Hughes. He didn't call
no,
him.
ignore the man behind the icon.
This seance is over.
Your
The
career
board
is
is forced to disband. I'm hanging up now.
I'm going straight to the newspaper. You're a fake.
Ah, I'm so sorry. I'm
Good
so sorry. I don't know what wrong there, guys. My apologies.
Oh well, thank you so much. That was very special. I love that.
We'd rather talk to Derek Hughes than Houdini
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What are you talking
All right.
about? That was absolutely Houdini, Mike and Tina. I don't know who you're speaking of.
Well,
Let's
okay, but Houdini lives in Minneapolis.
That's right.
yeah,
By the way, I got to mention,
Appleton, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, they're all kind of the same.
yeah, it all blurs in the middle.
Yeah.
Rob, do you have any fun stories about Mike and Tina that you might share?
No? Okay, good seeing you, Rob.
For safety. No. Okay.
The story about Mike and Tina really is that I knew them when I was a lost little lamb, and I was looking to reinvent myself. And my wife Tommy and I had this VHS. We were just getting into magic called The Story of Magic, and Mike and Tina were talking heads on this said VHS tape, and we deified them, we admired them, we started seeing them at the Magic Castle perform, and were in awe with how fully formed and dedicated they were to magic. We were just getting into it, and we just saw them as this not only model performers in their own right, but as a couple, they were a force of nature. And over time, we got to know them, and the more I get to know Mike and Tina, the more I love them, and they're like family to me. So that's the story. Is that it's been they've been a great part of my existence in magic and as a person.
That's a nice story, Z.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. I was trying to find. Here's a great picture of you guys on stage at the Magic Castle.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, it's with the great Arden James.
Yeah.
That's the Rat Show.
That's the Rat Show.
Rob
Directed by
Argentina.
which Mike Caveney directed it, and I'll tell you, Mike walked us through that rope routine where Tina walks through that rope, and it only came together because we sweat over it many afternoons at Chateau, the Swedish Chateau. What is it? What do you call it? What's the nickname for your house? The Chalet Gourmet. Wait,
The Chalet.
the Chalet.
The Chalet.
Whatever. Yeah.
At the Chalet.
By the way, at Abbott's, you mentioned there was somebody else who was also staying with you. You might know him from the Addams Family movie. You might know him from this photo right over here. Here's Lauren, everybody.
Christo. Look at that.
I'm
The hair color might have changed, but they're exactly the same.
best anniversary ever.
Well, I have to say,
Hey, wait a minute. How much you want for that Alexander poster?
Hey, let me tell you something. It's a sad day that Norm Nielsen died yesterday, but I bought it from Norm Nielsen, and you told me I overpaid at $75. So
You know what? It's worth it getting it from Norm to pay the
Yes.
extra 75.
he was a hero. I don't want to bring down your anniversary. He was a hero, but that's another day for another show. I'm excited to be. Let me tell you a couple things. First of all, Rob Zabrecki did a bunch of bits, and I actually worked on a bit, but I didn't tell Harrison I was working on a bit. I'm a little reluctant to do it.
Oh, yeah,
You should do it. Absolutely.
All right, I'll do it. Well, here's the thing: we're among friends, and you
Chris, that
know.
was not a bit.
that was not a bit.
So that was very real.
Oh no, I know yours is real, but I'm saying offering something to the to the Katie's. So here's the thing: Tina and I go way back, so we work on ideas together. And I feel, you want a safe environment, and Rob Zabrecki, I feel, is a safe environment. You're new, but you're a professional comedian, Harrison, and so I would like your advice on this. I'm working on some stuff.
Sure.
Here's the thing: I'm realizing there's a lot of these shows now, and I need some panel shtick. Now you can explain to your viewers what shtick is, and when you go on a
That is what my grandmother calls jokes.
right, when you go on, like Steve Martin would go on the Tonight Show and he'd prepare what you call panel shtick because you were going to go have some bit of business, right? So I thought I have to be honest with you. This is not a lie. I actually have to be on a Franz Ferrari show at 6 o'clock. So
How embarrassing.
so I thought now you can just be honest with me, Harrison. Everyone give feedback. I thought here's what I would do. I would open with a little comical joke, and then I would go into the bit of business. So here's the opening line. Who knew this pandemic? This pandemic's like a new vaudeville. I'm doing 6 live shows a day. All right.
That was the joke part.
All right, that was it. Okay. All right. 6 live shows. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? All right. All right. The great thing about this quarantine is you're spending a lot of time at home. So I was cleaning up the other day, and strangely enough, I found an old newspaper article from the 70s. Remember Dare Abby? Dear Abby, yeah, a new article on her I found on my desk, very old, but it said 5 ways to reduce stress. And I thought this is very timely in this day and age. It says, Dear Abby, I'm a housewife, stay-at-home mom, feeling very stressed and depressed. Can you help? And Dear Abby responds, Dear stressed and depressed, I'm happy to help. Here are 5 tips to reduce depression. Number 1, music can heal the soul. Go out to a concert. All right, let's get rid of this one here. Okay, I've got 4 more. It's okay. Laughter is the best medicine. Go to a comedy club.
I'm getting stressed and depressed.
Nature is magic. Go to the beach or a park with friends. Okay, we can. That's all right. I've got a couple more. Giving back to others can help. Go to a rally for your favorite charity. Okay, we can't do that. Okay, we got one more. Oh, we can do this one here. This one is read your horoscope. It might brighten your future. And luckily, on the back of this article, it has the horoscope. I'm Pisces, and it says right here, oh, this is good news. You are not the father. So and don't forget to wear your mask. Don't forget. All right, I won't be doing that on the Franz Ferrari show.
Don't do it on Franz. That bit is perfect for that show. It is just.
I would agree. In fact, I wish you'd have done it on Franz's show instead of this show.
Yeah, do it for that show for sure. Definitely don't do it on this one, but do it on Franz's show. Absolutely.
I have one note, Chris.
Yes.
One note. Take off the shirt.
Well, you know, let me tell you something. As magic people, that was actually an idea for a Clippo routine. But you don't know, in a pandemic, getting rubber cement is harder than cigarettes in jail.
So you actually
Cigarettes in jail.
Chris, you actually fooled me because I thought you were doing Clippo. And when it didn't restore, bam, you got me.
I like that the only tricks that fool Mike are tricks that don't have an ending.
Yeah.
Like I said pick a card and then I never found it. That would be more
amazing.
Before I leave, can I tell one nice story about Mike and Tina of when I first met them?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. I just want to say, you know, because you asked Rob, this is my main memory of Mike and Tina. I think I met Tina first in the magic shop. She'd come in to buy some props for the act she was working on. And I think I knew her first. But the buzz all around was because they were the king and queen of magic and had these parties. And every year they had this splash party, splash in or something. And I worked behind the counter at Hollywood Magic. And my biggest dream is like, one day I got to get to that party. Because all the big wigs in magic went there. And I said, one day I got to get to that party.
You will.
And it took years of just waiting and hoping. And then one day I got invited to that party. And it was the greatest day, one of the greatest days of my life.
Very easy to please.
Right.
So awesome. Crystal, great story. Well, it's a fact. On the very few times that I have any ideas for an act, I go to Christo. I always go to Christopher because he always has these great ideas, and they seem to just come out of his head. He helped me a lot on the mop act, on the scarf and ring acts. He just has this no Clippo for me. But no, it's just been like he's just one of those really great creators, and I've always been very grateful for his friendship.
All right. Thank you.
And all the magic, the old antique illusions that we've done on the Magic History Conference, oftentimes I've called Bobby Z and I've called Christopher Hart. And it's a big favor to ask.
Yeah,
would you mind coming over to my house week after week after week, standing out in the driveway, trying to figure out how we can make this old antique trick interesting and entertaining?
Yeah.
And Chris is really great at that.
Well, but I'll tell you, to be honest with Mike, it was just really an opportunity to work with John Lubbock. That's really.
That's another story.
I did just to get in that bellhop costume because I know they're like they're driving.
It's still in the basement if you ever want to come over and try it on.
Cool.
I got one more thing for Zabrecki. You know, there's a thing where they say you should never meet your hero because you'll get disappointed. Zabrecki is my hero right now, and I can't be disappointed. And he's my hero because of everything he's been through and how he got through it. And he's the hardest worker. He practices. You know, he just has all this great work ethic. So yeah, he's got this natural talent. But what I admire so much about him is I look to him as someone who just really knows how to work on something and just not give up and just be there and then have the guts to perform it. You know, it takes those two things. You can. He's very daring, but he also works really hard to prepare to be daring, and I'm really grateful. So
I'm not convinced that it's a natural talent. And the reason I say that is because Tina and I remember many years ago at the Magic Castle when Rob Zabrecki first showed up and wasn't booked, but was coming in to do little Carney's Wonder Workshop and trying out a trick. And we used to come home going, man, that guy's got a long path to travel before he's got anything because it was weird and not commercial really. And he showed up every week and he would do a routine over and over. And now jump ahead 20 years and it's unbelievable what Rob has done.
Okay, let me about what I said, natural talent. It was hidden, but it was there. I mean, he's got stuff, he can do stuff that none of us can do. And as hard as he works, I think I could work that hard and I couldn't do that. So the biggest laugh, like remember the Jack Benny show, the biggest laugh in radio was the moment of silence when it was like your money or your life. And
Jack Benny said, I'm thinking about it.
No, he waits and then he thinks. Well, Zabrecki, when he does the hug kill thing, I would stand backstage every night with my timer. And how long was it? Like a minute?
A minute of silence.
Time it. And I'd be there and every time he'd go, I gotta get back. So he after the kill thing comes up, I mean, he owns that routine. I know. The kill thing comes up, the laughs just go forever. And he's not afraid to stand there.
I know Tom Stone invented that routine and put it in a book. But if it were up to me, I would bar everyone in the world from
Yeah.
doing that routine except Bobby Z. It fits
So-
him much better than it fits Tom Stone or anybody else.
Yeah. So I mean, there's got to be some unspoken thing because I work hard and I can't get that. Yeah.
Well, you guys do a lot
Well,
of shows.
you don't know what a difficult routine that is to perform. Technically, it's very, very hard. There's a lot of moves in the routine. So
And intensive.
Yeah.
Harry Houdini, by the way, sent a private chat to say Hug Kill is Rob's bit.
well, he would know. Yes.
So absolutely on the record, Harry Houdini.
He's still sending messages from the afterlife. They're still coming in.
If you want to try to call him back, he might be able to tell you.
Rob, is that a Thayer wrapping hand?
Which one? Oh, this one here?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It is. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Probably.
When did you guys first work together? I know you guys have been. You guys have done shows together. I saw you guys all do one big one at Abbott's. Was it like a natural thing where you guys were just friends and you were like, we should do this together, or because you guys complement each other so well when you guys are all in the same bill?
Yeah.
Well, Tina, Mike, and I, we used to be out of the country a lot because we were all friends, but our acts didn't conflict. So Nick Knight and Kinga, it was great. Yeah, Nick Knight and Kinga were always on the team.
And what you were saying earlier, Harrison, about me doing stand-up comedy, magic, and Tina being silent, serious, that's great for us getting booked on shows together all over the world because we bring two completely different styles with us.
So in the show, because we mostly work with comedians, and you hear the word comic relief, I call myself serious relief. They finally laugh so hard at these guys that they just need a moment of, okay, let's just sit back and watch something move. So I kind of give it that thing.
I think when you have performers who are able to have the ability to see a bigger picture where they're a component of something, they're one ingredient of a show, and there's no competition within those acts.
Right.
You've got a recipe for combining routines together, or really complementing each other the best way possible. At the end, you look better. I think I know that when I perform with Tina Leonard and Mike, or Tina Leonard and Arden, or any combination of performers I work with, I end up looking really great because I feel like I'm on the right stage with the right people, and it's like I'm seen in the best light. And I actually prefer it in some ways than performing, like doing my own longer show.
Yeah, me too. I've never wanted to be the big Mike Caveney magic show. I love being an act on a bill and hanging out with the other guys, and usually I end up emceeing the show, and I stand in the wings and get to watch everybody from the side, and boy, that's when I'm in my element.
Yeah, same.
And Mike and Tina, have you ever considered, because you got, like, there are the magic couples where they perform together. Episode 2 is Kaylin and Ginger, and they're on stage at the same time doing one act, although they do separate components as well. Was there ever a thought to being on stage together, or has it always been separate acts?
Yeah, that lasted a week.
Disaster.
What was the act? What did you guys try?
A bank show?
Yeah, we did a couple things. We did a trade show together. Wasn't good. We did a show in New York for a couple of weeks.
I'm gonna blame the mustache.
This was after the mustache. I wish I could blame the mustache. We did a show in New York, and you know what? Here's the problem. I was always the magician doing my act, and then Tina had her own act, and so she was the center of attention. And when you put two people on stage together, I'm sorry, one of them is the assistant. Whoever walks off stage to pick something up and bring it, that's the assistant. And neither one of us was used to being in that position. So we decided there's no reason for us to do an act together. We're much better off being two acts.
Well, we like to watch. We help each other backstage.
Yeah.
We run each other's sound, or we just kind of check on things. What happened? Was the breaking point was when we were doing that show at the bank.
Oh, I know.
There was some sort of watch deal. I don't remember what it was.
It's a disaster.
And I was supposed to hand the watch behind the guy's back, and Mike was something like that.
And I was supposed to take it.
Yeah. So somehow the watch ended up on the floor.
Clearly, Tina dropped it.
So yeah, Mike says, "Oh, you dropped it." I said, "No, you didn't pick it up in time." And we started getting into this fight about whose fault it was. And I understand the reason for it because there's adrenaline that goes on. I know that, you know, when you finish your act, you should, when somebody walks off stage finishing their act, you don't say anything to them unless to tell them they're great. But you never say anything else because that's that adrenaline moment, especially if they tanked. So, you know, it was those adrenaline moments, and we just thought we don't have to, we shouldn't be doing this. And besides our styles, like for some reason, my style works with Zabrecki, and we seem to, and with Arden, that trio works, and no one looks like the assistant. It's like we give this thing that works out, and I love it when I can find those moments. But we never found it, but we found that we work really well with sharing ideas. You know, I'll give Mike little ideas here, and he gives me a lot of ideas. So it's a great working relationship, but we'd rather keep it off
So
stage.
the Mike and Tina act lasted for 2 weeks.
And it was miserable, yeah.
And Rob Arden Tina
10
show
years.
lasted for 10 years. So
Yeah.
there you go.
No, but it's
And, I have a few more questions, but I want to make sure as we get past 8 o'clock Eastern time, that if you have questions for anybody, to put them in the comments. We can see all of them. I want to make sure if you have any questions, please send them over via Facebook or YouTube. I think some of you are watching on Instagram as well, and thank you so much for that. Changing topics slightly, because I know Rob participates in this. Christopher, have you participated in the Sunday thing that Tina does?
The yoga?
oh
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm proud to say that when Tina was first learning to become a yoga teacher, I was served lamb of other students that.
yeah, no, he's been coming. Both Rob and Christopher have been coming. Every
Charter
Sunday.
Charter members.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a real gift for me because I like to, you know, I just like to be able to work with my friends, you know, not strangers.
And have you guys done it in the house, or has this all been? Is a post-corona quarantine Zoom version?
Well, it was when I was getting my training. I need to have experience teaching, so these guys were generous enough to come over and these guys were generous to come over and let me be there. They're my guinea pigs, so to speak. I do goat yoga now, which is really I teach that. And that's our backyard, and that's really fun. But that's gone now for this.
That picture with the waterfall?
Yes.
I was in that picture, and I looked like a big,
Where were you in the picture?
abominable snowman. Just this pasty white, completely ruining it. And so I went into Photoshop and painted rock all over me. And now it's beautiful.
Yeah, where those
I would love to see the original picture where you're just like underneath the rock, like you're going to charge a bunch of billy goats a toll to cross.
Yeah, it's so bad. Well, I'll tell you what, Sunday morning yoga here is really great because Sunday morning, 11 a.m., Guy Hollingworth appears from England. He's holed up out in his little cottage. Chris is there. Rob is there. Matt King from Las Vegas is there. Henry Vargas from Brazil joins us. Ines from Spain joins us. So it's like a big
David Kovac's a new student.
David Kovac, who moved here a couple years ago.
So yeah,
It's good.
I don't like teaching this way, but it's certainly been interesting to do it that way. Yeah.
That's amazing. And is it
I did it to start. I did it when they'd come over. We clear out the living room. That's how we started. And then I started teaching regularly, and that went away. And then when this came about, I thought, hey, this might work. And Mike said, yeah, you should try it. And so we have, we got about 8 people that show up.
8 people?
Virtual people.
what is the peak number of people that have attended these Sunday yoga sessions?
What'd you say?
What's
the peak number?
I think we had about 15 or 16.
I think
Yeah, I counted 15 or 16 a couple weeks ago. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, Mark Fight and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mark Fight. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, some variety performers too. It's great.
Yeah.
Mark's great. Yeah.
And is it hard not to laugh? It sounds like there are a lot of funny people. Like if Mac is involved in Williamson, how do you
once it starts, everybody's very serious doing their thing.
I was surprised, that everybody was really willing to. They understood, they got what's going on. But laughter is certainly acceptable. I mean, that's the beauty of it. We're all a group of friends, and it's somebody does something. I don't see anybody trying to be funny, but these are funny guys. So I always preach laughter is certainly welcome. Crying is.
It's incredible. I love picturing every single aspect of that. Rob or Christopher, has there been a moment where you had to stifle something? Has somebody tried to pull something during the yoga?
Well, I mean, when we were at Tina's house, I tried to be funny a couple times, and it was not appropriate, so I stopped.
Doing Flippo. It didn't go over that well.
Yeah, no, I'm glad he did clip it because now we know why he's a silent act. But Rob,
Comedy's hard. Comedy's hard. Harrison, you got to try this stuff out. They're not all
I
winners.
will one day, one of these days, back when we can talk to other people in person. It'll be great.
You know, we're all going to watch Franz Harari tonight.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
heckle.
that,
Well,
either,
virtual heckle.
that could either be a complete train wreck because there's so much out of my control on that, but I gave him a lot of here's the I don't know if I should promote another show. He calls me up.
Right, if it's a train wreck, he can then levitate it via CGI.
Well, all these shows I feel are kind of incestuous because everyone's on another person's show, and I feel like, oh, he did that show, and am I going to catch something? But Franz, well, I don't want to throw Franz under the bus, but he'll call me up after he's already booked a guest and said, "What do you know about this person? What do you know about this person?" I go, "Well, you're interviewed. You don't know nothing," and I give him a whole background on these people because I know all of them.
No, this is fun. This is like Franz's show, but professional. And no, it's great.
Chris, here's what you should do. On Franz's show, you should get under your desk and have Thing on the table and do the whole interview with Thing.
Well, here's the thing. Franz likes to sometimes throw his friends under a bus by embarrassing them. And I just reminded Franz, I said, remember, this is live, and live works both ways. So
Yeah.
I just want you to yell now as many times as possible. That would be the thing to incorporate.
Hit the tape.
Wow.
Both lay me some tracks.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, Christopher and Rob, because we're getting into the end zone of this interview, is there any final thoughts that you have on Mike and Tina's on the eve of their anniversary, their 41st anniversary?
I do. Tell me this. Well, like a touching, lasting thought. What's the mug I have? I have a mug from an anniversary. What number was that?
It was our 25th.
25.
Wow, that's crazy. So that means I have that mug from 25, and I've already passed 16 years from that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy to me.
So yeah,
I don't get a mug. I don't get a mug. What's happening?
No, use your old mug.
I'll just mark. Or I'll put a marker over the other one.
Cross out the 25 and put 41 on it.
No, Mike and Tina. We don't send each other birthday cards or Christmas cards, and we don't give each other gifts. But somehow they're very.
You a mug.
Well, you gave me a mug, yes, and I appreciate that mug. But somehow they are very important, stable, core friends in my life that I think, honestly, my life would be very different if they were not in it. So.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Christopher. Go do that other one that started way after this one. And no, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you so much for doing it, Chris. I always enjoy working with you. Mwah. Love that poster in the back. And we'll talk to you soon. And Rob, any last thoughts about Tina and Mike?
What can I say? I love you guys. You're like family. I wish you another 41 years of marriage, and you guys always amaze me. And you're a model couple for Tommy and I. We're right behind you. Always trying to be like you guys in one way or another. And thanks for your friendship. You're awesome.
Thanks, Z.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you can follow Rob at Rob Zabrecki on Instagram. He also has a show, The Other Side with Zabrecki, on YouTube.com. So make sure you search for it, check it out. He's channeled many spirits, and thank you for channeling the spirit of Houdini. We appreciate that very much, Rob. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. You're a mensch, as they would say, as my dad would say. And I hope to talk to you soon, man. Mwah.
Thanks, Harrison. Okay, peace out, guys. Bye. Bye.
Mike and Tina, while this was happening, it's like the Matrix for me. I have multiple monitors. I received a text from one David Williamson, and he might have been able to help me. This is the photo that you sent me, and then this is the photo that he just sent me.
There it is.
So I think we've unlocked it. I think we figured out the unphotoshop button.
So did David take that picture? Is that how he has that?
Oh, that's this.
I don't know how he has such a high resolution version of this.
Really?
It's an incredible photoshopping job.
Where was that, Skeets?
What, Iguazu?
Iguazu in Brazil. I think David was tailing us.
Oh, was he there at the same time?
Screenshot and put it.
No, that's amazing. A couple of people actually put some questions in. Alex Boyce, who you know from Magic Camp and Beyond, wrote, what magician of the past would Mike have liked to see perform live that he didn't? And then for Tina, he said, what is Tina's favorite poster?
I would like to have seen Leroy Talma and Bosco, their whole show. I'd love to see all those guys. I'd love to see all those guys. But I think that would be the one, Leroy Talma and Bosco, for many reasons. I think I know what Tina's favorite poster is.
You do.
Oh, I almost want to play the newlywed game where you have to write it down and prove it, but I'll trust you.
I could go get it. You just said the butterfly. That's not what I was going to say. Talma.
Oh, that too.
Talma's
Talma
hands with the coins.
I love hands. You know, she has this beautiful hand. But the mascot,
The golden butterfly, which was the mascot moth.
Yeah, yeah. I love that illusion.
It's in our living room.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That was it.
And Rob actually asked, what's the one piece of magic history you don't own but wish you did?
Oh, you know, there's tons of great things. Whenever I go visit another collector, I always see great stuff. But I don't have to have it. I'm kind of happy to know where it is and know that this guy's my friend and I can go visit it. And so there's no big glaring hole that I'm dying to fill.
By the way, I'm still getting texts from David Williamson. He definitely was on that trip because he has so many copies of that photo. He said he was behind the rock. And this is the photo that Mike sent me, the edited version. And David has been using Photoshop to de-edit the photos. So this is the first version, and he's actually archived. You know how there's layers of paint? Like when you X-ray a painting and you can see all the prior versions. He actually excavated the original version, which was this one.
You know what? That's not easy either. Doing that on solid ground is hard enough.
Really?
But throwing that coffee cup while standing in a waterfall, that's tough.
Or Photoshop.
That's perhaps the ultimate.
That's really amazing.
Let's see if there's any more questions. We just have Chris Harper saying, Mike and Tina are the best.
Oh.
We have, what did you think of Cramian's Magic Jamboree? That's
a good question. The answer is that I went back and then I went back again and then I went back again, and Stan used to call me and say, bring me a show, bring me a convention. So I'd book all my buddies, and we had Tina and Rob and Chris and Arden and all our friends come up there, and Matt King and David Williamson. And man, we had fun. Oh, did we have fun.
Yeah.
One night, so Cramian, who was a big illusionist, and this convention took place in a barn at his house that was packed full of illusions. And they said, you know, we've got all these illusions in here. You guys can use anything you want. We said, perfect. Saturday night show will be an illusion show presented by Mr. Misto, because John Carney was with us, and his assistants were Tina, me, Matt King, David Williamson, and David Charvet. And it was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. People laughed from the very beginning till the very end without stopping. And so Cramian's, it's one of those things like Abbott's. You couldn't do it anyplace else. It was its own thing. It was just fun. So I love Cramian's.
And by the way, David Williamson has commented to say that's the only time he didn't drop.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, Willie.
There is some truth to that. Yes.
Good friend David Williamson. And
I can always count on Willie.
There's one more question. This is a pretty good one. You prefaced it by saying, okay, Mike, this is about to be a disaster. What is the one thing you run into the house to save besides for Tina, of course?
You know, everybody asks that when they come to Egyptian Hall, what's the one thing? I don't have a good answer. I think I would start opening the window and just chucking stuff out the window, because there's so many things here that it's just a one-of-a-kind thing. And if that gets burned up or whatever, it's gone. So I don't know. It's tough. And, you know, and you could say, well, why don't you keep it all in a fireproof vault and what, and then never see it? No, I'd rather take my chances and do this. Do you have a picture of David Williamson?
I do, but he just actually, I think he is the correct answer, because you mentioned all the magic stuff you'd be throwing out the window in addition to Tina, and Williamson reminded you of the cats.
Well, Tina would have already gotten the cat. Oh, yeah, there's two of them. You know, when they're kittens like that, they are so hilariously funny. And then they grow up to be mangy old cats that sit and sleep all day. And
Oh.
Here's a
So,
grown-up version.
so yeah, Tina would have saved all the cats while I was still scratching
But
my
I
head.
would have died trying to do it because when these cats, you can't catch a cat
Yeah.
if it doesn't
It's
look
like herding
a cup.
cats.
Right, exactly. Do the cats have fun names?
This is Mick.
Mick,
I don't know who you guys
Nando,
are.
and Chewy. They
Oh,
all
that's-
look exactly the same. So you just
Come here.
call one and one of them will come.
Come here.
Guys, this has been amazing. People are still remembering that show that you were just describing. That show was awesome. Best magic show ever.
Oh,
Hilarious.
Ian's Magic Jamboree was so fun. And one of the questions that we ask everybody on the show, it's usually our last question. There are young magicians who are watching from the IBM, people who are just starting or they're in the midst of beginning their professional career. What advice would you guys give these young magicians based on all the experience that you guys have had?
If it speaks, I don't know the way to put it, but if magic speaks to you, if it draws you, then you just go for it. And you don't give up, and you don't, and don't think of it as a job that you got to, make a lot of money. Just play, enjoy it. No, this is a one time you can do that. And you want to be able to do it the rest of your life. And there's lots of rejection, and it's not because of you. That's just how life is. People don't care, but you have to love it more than it loves you, and just stay with it. Don't like. Just, it's there. I mean, especially magic. I mean, as Mike told you earlier, I've been involved in a lot of different things. And magic is just like one of the friendliest, meaningful things that you get into. And just do it. I mean, don't hesitate.
And Mike, what advice would you give?
Ignore all advice because
I'm doing this one.
if you have truly been bitten by the magic bug,
Yeah.
nothing else will matter.
Yeah.
If you were truly a magic nut kid and that's all you cared about, and I said, "Oh, you should stay in school and become a lawyer," you're not going to do that because you don't have time to do that because you love magic so much. Here's something I realized a couple of years ago. I went to a high school reunion, and I had a terrible time. My high school reunion was bored out of my mind, and I realized the only reason I'm in this room with all these people is because our parents lived in the same town. That's all we had in common. Our parents lived in the same town. Now, all these decades later, they're fat and divorced and miserable and have jobs that they hate. And, I don't want to hang out with those people. But all the people that I met when I joined the the Long Beach Mystics when I was a kid, when I joined the Magic Castle and this whole world opened up to me, those are the best friends I've had in my whole life. We have everything in common. And I know that they'll be my friends till my dying day. So my advice is go to a magic convention, go to a magic club meeting, because that's where you'll meet your best friends.
And maybe your wife or your husband.
Maybe your wife. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Well, a happy anniversary to you guys. Thank you so much. There was a shout out to the Mystics. Speaking of,
Hey, Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
and if they want to buy Tina's essay that's coming out very soon in the Astonishing Essays collection, that's available at Vanishing Ink Magic. Mike has a ton of incredible books. Those are all available at mcmagicwords.com. And our guests were Rob Zabrecki. You can follow him the other side with Zabrecki and Udo Khan. Also a shout out to Christopher Hart and to Harry Houdini, who sometimes looked like Derek Hughes, but I can neither confirm nor deny. Getting a happy anniversary from a bunch of other people as well. Mike and Tina, thank you guys so much for doing this. You guys are heroes of mine. I love you guys so much. And one more time, a different set of balloons. Happy anniversary, everybody.
Thanks, Harrison. It was great fun.
Thank you
Thank you so much. Mwah. Stay safe and stay well.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Mike and Tina, everybody. Mike Caveney and Tina Leonard, two of my favorite people on the planet. They are just incredible and inspiring. And I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. That was unbelievable. Also, a shout out to Dave Williamson for unearthing the correct photos. So I thank you for that as well. This Monday coming up, 7 p.m. EDT, 4 p.m. PDT, the amazing Jonathan. Yes, that's our guest on Monday. Unbelievable. I am so excited about that. So please tune in. Mark your calendars already. It's 7 p.m. on Monday. If you're on the East Coast, 4 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. If you're on Central Time, let's say 5. But be on one of the coasts. They're fun. But yeah, Amazing Jonathan is Monday, and a huge thank you to the IBM, the International Brotherhood of Magicians, who present and make this show possible. Magician.org/join the IBM/join. And here's a bonus. This is all available now as a podcast. So if you want to, I don't know how much driving you're doing or how much time you're commuting, but if you do want to enjoy this as a podcast, you can. It's now available on Apple Music. You can check out whobooksthat.com. That's a website I haven't built yet, so maybe don't do that. But Apple Music, you just search for Who Books That with Harrison Greenbaum on iTunes or Apple Music or on podcasts if you've updated it. And you'll be able to download all the episodes that we've already had in audio format. So that's pretty cool. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Harrison Comedy. Tomorrow I'm doing Scam Online, a virtual magic show that I do every Thursday night at 8 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that. My name is Harrison Greenbaum. This has been Who Books That. Thanks so much to everybody for commenting. Really, really appreciate it. From all around the world, from Italy to Australia, even to Pennsylvania. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you here on Monday, or every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. EDT. This has been Who Books That. We'll see you real soon. Who books that? I'm making up this song right now.